Kill or Be Killed podcast with Damian Ross, founder and master instructor of the Self-Defense Company.
And we're live. I'm Damian Ross from the Self-Defense Company with my good man George Hutchins up there in the Great White North. Hey, yo, is it snowing up there?
Like a bitch.
Yeah.
It's going nuts. I mean, today we're in the middle of a storm, so.
Yeah, we're getting hammered too. So it's kind of nice. We're inside. It's cold. I think I got to take my kid to a basketball tryout. He's in high school. He's a sophomore. And it's an evolutionary step. He doesn't wrestle. And some people would think I'd be upset about this, but I'm actually I'm excited. I look at it as a a step forward. Yep. He's also like about 6'1" right now, and he's 15. So, and he can dunk a basketball, which is which is pretty cool. So I just it's one of those things where I say the one thing about I really don't talk about my kids too much. Because I think anytime you talk about your kids, you talk about your spouse, it's kind of like on a public forum or on social media, it's the fucking kiss of death.
Yep.
Everyone that I know that has posted, oh my God, how wonderful my kids are, or how, I love you, honey, so much. Like the kids are fucking up and they're going to get divorced. Yeah.
That's right.
To the man. Like, for an example, my post on my anniversary, I don't know if you remember that. I'm like, you were faithful, kind, loving. And I go through this whole thing. I'm like, God, I miss that dog.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, happy anniversary to honey. Right. Oh, you're like, yeah, man, you love your wife, but it's like, dude, you don't need to profess it to everyone you went to high school with. Hey, look at me, I'm doing great. Yeah, everybody's fucking doing great.
Yep.
So anyway, just to wrap up, what we were talking about before we got on with the body armor. Yeah. So by themselves, the backpacks are slash proof just from the sheer that they're 1,000 weight DPI Cadora, whatever the hell that is. They're thick as hell. And then when you add the protection, the 3A is not rated spike proof. So there's slash and there's spike. It's like stab is spike, right? So you can say stab would be a knife, but really spike is what you're looking for. The level 3A is not the soft armor, but the level 3 is. They're plates. They're polyethylene plates. So you ain't stabbing through those. So if someone is concerned with getting stab and slash proof, it's like, well, if you're concerned with that, you're concerned with rifles. So get the rifle plates and you'll be covered.
That's right.
Okay, so today's topic, what I want to talk about is social media and the government, at least here in the United States, and how it's subverting your ability to defend yourself. They're setting standards up, and they've got this bizarre set of rules where it's like anything that has to do with violence or means you're violent. That's even protecting yourself. That's even wearing body armor and gas masks and things like that. But we'll get to that. But first, I want to talk about something that's not on the docket, and that is so if you saw 2 weeks ago, Pat Mahomes getting knocked out or getting concussed in the conference championship game against who the hell's he against? The Browns. The Browns. So I'm going to roll a clip. I'm going to just do it really short and quick because, it's not like we have rights to this stuff. And, the NFL may, who the hell knows. But anyway, what we're going to do is we are going to open up the clip. Get that thing. So, there's some argument whether he got hit in the hit his head or he got hit with we like to call the carotid or the neck nerve bundle. And, I think it's funny. I've been looking at this and and each time I look at it, I change my mind either way. So let's just pull it up and take a look. Let me just share my screen. All right, here we go. application window here. Okay, good. Share. All right. So here we go. He's doing looks like an RPO. Nope, it's not. It's a read option. It's basically an option. So anyway, I won't get into my football shit. He's running. Boom. Okay, so you see him. He's trying to get out. He's out on his feet.
Yep.
Again, he's doing like this. This is where we're getting into this. Like this shot, but I see it hitting the face mask and coming in. You know, is it? This can't be. I don't think his head is even hitting the ground. There. See, from this angle, it looks like it's coming in. From that angle, I'm like, he definitely got hit in the side of the neck. And if you realize, you know, if you don't train with us, we spend a lot of our time going to this area. The neck is the gateway to the nervous system, right?
Yes.
So, you know, we like it. It connects everything. It's like this freaking superhighway. You got blood flow going to the brain. You got all the communications from the brain all the way down. You're controlling. That's it. You short circuit this. Obviously, there's other areas that we hit and we target, but the neck is one of the main ones. And
100%.
you know, so I think, you know, we get, you know, because of boxing and westernized sports, we got away from, you know, people kind of goof on us for always, you know, chopping and hacking. And, you know, there's a, you know, every martial art or empty hand fighting system has this strike.
Yeah.
You know, the Chinese call this, you know, the 1,000 strike or something. I don't know. I forget. That means it can go anywhere. Here's an old clip as an example of a guy, you know, it looks like two guys in the military. It says Marines, but I don't know. I can't tell the difference. Where they're lining each other up, and this guy just wants to demonstrate the edge of hand.
The whole thing is you gotta show me how to do it because you guys test it out and I'm not gonna mess up. You know what I'm saying? With a knife hand, I don't know if I messed all the way through.
All right.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, you know how to do it. Yeah. Well, show me. Like, how hard do you have to hit them, though? It will pop. Like, I demonstrated.
Here we go. Now, I'm going to tell you, you know, in my opinion, that looks really soft.
Yes.
You know, so I'm inclined to be like, maybe, you know, if you ask me right away, I'd be like, that guy's faking it. And we do this thing all the time, and we hit with a lot more force than that.
Yes.
You know, the Patrick Mahomes hit didn't get hit with much force than that. I mean, I will say that, you know, people have different tolerances, right? You know, we're built, even though we're built the same way, we have general tolerances and different pain thresholds, and we're susceptible to different things. You know, this, I would say if you hit them like another, like 50% harder, I would have been like, definitely. Like if you wound up a little bit and just went bang.
Yep.
Now, the problem is, though, if it's, you know, if depending, again, like we said, there's tolerances. So if you like really, really hit somebody, especially in the base of the skull, back of the neck, where that meets, that's going to be my phone. I'm going to decline that. You should be silent. So anyway, where were we? So you get into, you know, you really hit that back of the neck, you know, and that's where all of the primary functions, the involuntary functions, are regulated. that swell, that gets shut down. First you're getting shock, and then that starts filling with blood. You have problems. And again, varying degrees, whether it's, depending on the frequency and the force in which you hit these areas, they will, you can cause, severe injury, knockout, discomfort, severe injury, death. This, again, this was, it just seems a little too easy.
Like, how hard you have to hit him, though?
But again, this thing's been out there for like 10 years. Bang. Just a little too easy.
A little bit.
A little bit, but again, it's done, just as an example. Let me pull up this other. I got some other asshole. All right. Yeah. Now you got this douchebag. So, first primary technique is the edge of hand technique. Hand snaps out convulsively. You're striking with anywhere from the first knuckle all the way down to even the shoulders. While the edge of hand is designed to fit. So, I mean, we're winding up and we're snapping that thing at the bare minimum. Vertical. It also becomes at the bare minimum. At close range. So, edge of hand technique is our we've knocked each other out with this for sure. But it's not something that is as dainty and fragile as that soldier that I thought was a little I thought that may have been faked. But again, going back to the Mahomes thing, I mean, he's getting hit side of the jaw, side of the neck. I mean, he's getting wrapped a little bit. I mean, we underestimate the force at which these guys hit.
That's right. I mean, you're seeing the forearm just smash right into him, right? So
yeah, I played 1AA, and we played. We were playing like Towson State, and I gotta tell you, man, like that first time, like you're getting hit, and this is not D1, big D1. This is medium, smaller D1 football. I mean, you're getting hit. It felt like every time I got hit, it flashed. So, that happened in high school. That happened like once every 2 or 3 games. You'd hit somebody who was that was a fucking stud. This was happening like every play. So the level at which these guys hit and wrap and move, it's like anyone who's been hit by a professional heavyweight boxer, anyone who's grappled with an elite or even good, like state, national level, BJJ or judoka or wrestler. I mean, there's just, it's like a whole, like they're doing something different, right? Like I'm doing this, and then we look like we're doing the same thing, but bro, you're holding those pads, and that guy starts hitting you, like, holy shit. I'm not even,
And also remember, the guy's not stationary, right? You got this fucking collision that's happening as well, which is magnifying the level of force too. So.
Right. 100%. So, that secret, knockout, the side of the neck, the carotid, the base of the neck. I mean, we hit the throat. It's more of a gag reflex, but we'll take it. That, is like, that's like right out there. And still, I'm shocked at how many people just don't know it exists, or it's been goofed on so much by Austin Powers, by, the karate chop thing isn't going to work. And we've been fucking, trained to just, okay, we're boxing. And look, no one's saying that punching somebody in the face isn't not only satisfying, but effective.
Yep.
We're not saying that, but you have to look at things and open your mind and realize, look, that method of attack to that area of the body has been going on since, Cain and Abel.
Yep.
I mean, forever. So,
Yep.
It gets out of favor because it has no place in sports. Sakuraba used to do some shit, but, he was limited in what he could do because you can't attack this area, and you shouldn't, because you could kill somebody, like really freaking kill them. Imagine being on somebody, having somebody's back and just hacking on the back of their neck.
Yep.
Holy crap.
Yep.
The way and the force at which these guys hit, people would die. So, when you're sitting there and you're like, and again, from the combative side, I get it, but when they're like, well, you guys don't, they have rules and stuff. Yes, of course they have rules. It's for safety. By the way, that doesn't make that these guys are not tough. These guys are fucking trained athletes who are willing to. I'm talking about MMA fighters on a decent level, right? These guys are willing to put themselves through a fucking meat grinder.
Yep.
And train. And it's, if you haven't wrestled, if you haven't done judo, if you haven't done even like BJJ, if you haven't boxed, you haven't done Thai boxing, anywhere where it's live, where whatever you're doing, you can do at 100% at the person in front of you. The training that goes into this is, and even like higher levels of football, high school and up, where there's contact, where it's a will sport, you don't understand, you think it's, these guys are willing to do that. Right? Anyone's willing to put themselves through grueling pain, triathlons, marathons. There's a certain mindset here that, normal people just don't understand. I know guys that run ultra marathons. You out of your freaking mind? 50, 100 miles? What do? Holy shit.
Yeah.
I ran a half marathon once. I did a Ragnar relay, and that was like with 8 guys. We did like 170 miles or something like that. I freaking hated it.
Yep.
It was awful. Awful. Never doing it again. The problem is you can talk me into anything and I'll do it once. You ask me to go, pick grapes and, whatever. I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll go. Why not?
Yep.
But yeah, man, that running, and shit,
Oh, I know.
right, I'm like, I do it, but it's like, I can't, for that long, no. I'd rather deadlift 500 pounds.
Yep.
That's kind of where I'm at. I don't have to go very far, and the pain will be over in a couple seconds.
Yep.
Not a grueling torture of, I'm not built for it. If you ever met, I'm short, I'm a block. I would meant to go fast, very short distances. At least I was at one point. Now I just look like it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's funny, because I was talking about my kid playing basketball, and that's like, it's like the one sport, there's a couple, but that was like the one sport I never got good. I could never get good at. Like, I peaked in 2nd grade. It's the only reason I wrestled is because I couldn't play basketball.
Yep.
All the kids that wrestled went and played basketball. There was nothing else to do. And my cousin, wrestled, and my brother did. So I was doing whatever my brother was doing. So yeah, done. And then, I was like, I could, kind of beat a kid up. And that's why I like football and wrestling. I could do things that I got sent to the principal's office for in school. But, that was the one sport that I just, oh my God, man. I still can't. So whereas my son was growing up, I used to just, because he doesn't have an older brother. So it kind of was, I wasn't like, I don't want to use the word torture, but I was giving him like big brother shit.
Yep.
And just because I know he wanted to compete, and I knew what it did for me on a certain level. And then about 7th or 8th grade, he started beating me, like at basketball, like it was a huge difference. And all I did was laugh and smile. And he's like, why are you? I go, because I suck at this. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
And you should be beating the crap out of me. So now at least you're better than, you can do this. So, yeah. So now it's just, that's where, again, so I digress. But anyway, so yeah, that strike, that area of the body, extremely vulnerable, vulnerable, and multiply that with like a blackjack or a pipe or a billy club or a sap glove. Guys are worried about, well, empty hands. Well, look, this is why in like module 9 we go through, in module 11, I should say module 11, we go through all that stuff, those force multipliers. So when you do hit, you're using a small weapon, something you can conceal and carry.
Yeah.
That you don't have to freaking worry about. So, yeah. So that being said, okay. So I guess, what I want to go to, and I'll start with, is there's like this weird relationship with violence and our government, which in turn is the media, and when I say the government, I know we talk about, Republican, Democrat, it's always the left, but, I'm going to go also out there and say they're both in a racket together.
Yes.
So again, it's not like, okay, so just my background, I graduated from Lehigh University with a degree in international relations or political science. So like history and things like that or something, and politics is something I've been kind of interested in. Again, I'll be honest with you, I like to look at things from a macro view, because once you get into the minutia, I mean, there's so much bullshit out there. You really don't want to, you don't know what to believe from either side, to be honest.
That's right.
I know what my common sense tells me. I know what politeness and courtesy tell me, and I also know what history tells me. So when I start seeing things like, the first thing that struck me, of course, was this. Let me just, where are you? I'm going to have to share screen, application window. Yeah, so we're going to do, okay. We're going to be shared for a second. Right, here we go. Okay. All right. You see that? Facebook suspends ads for weapon accessories until at least January 22nd. Right?
Yep.
So on Inauguration Day, preparations include a temporary ban that promote weapon accessories and protective equipment at least through January 22nd out of an abundance of caution. Okay, we already prohibit ads for weapons, ammunition, and weapon enhancements like silencer, but now we'll also prohibit ads for accessories such as gun safes, vests, and gun holsters in the U.S. Now, what possibly could be gained by not advertising for a gun safe?
That's right.
Body armor is a non-aggressive, passive defense. No one's been killed by body armor. You can say, well, bad guys have used body armor in the commission of a crime. I would say, yes, they have. They've also used firearms. They also use knives. They also use cars. They also use, and the reality is, if you're concerned about violence, if you're concerned with being shot, which by all means, if you're going there, there's a real possibility, all right, that someone with a gun is going to come up and start shooting the place up. Yeah, sure, we can go back to, the Republican congressman getting shot by the leftist guy, playing baseball. The congressmen were playing baseball. I remember that for a few years ago after Trump got elected, and he, shot that guy and started shooting up the fucking field. Yeah. If you're in politics, if you're in any type of position of power now, especially now, you've got, you should be wearing
There's
off.
Concerns. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm like, not going to look. Fact is, people are getting sick from COVID. People are dying from COVID. People are getting shot. People, the bad guys are going to go do it anyway. I mean, we always get this. And if you ban everything, bad guys are still going to find it.
Yep.
Heroin is illegal, yet I can go on Craigslist now and score some in an hour. Yeah. Right? So you think it's easier to get heroin in the country than it is to set up a mill with a lathe in your freaking basement and start making guns.
That's right.
Right? So there's really, it's ridiculous. So it's just, it's just this mindset that anything we do in, anything that has to do with violence, people just don't want it. The sheep just don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is what they're doing. Yeah, you can take it a step further and say they're trying to make you vulnerable. So in case they have to use force, they can. For example, this was what I thought was telling. Okay, can you see that?
There's nothing there yet.
Oh, okay, sorry. Let me share my screen. Oh, all right. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. I think I may want to do, hold on, let me just do the app. Sorry, I'm going to stop screen share. Hold on a second. Share, application window. There we go. All right. Oh, yeah, okay, no, I'll get to that last. Share. So, okay. All right. Media barred from bringing bulletproof vests, gas masks, and helmets to inauguration. So the media freaking out about what happened in the Capitol.
Yep.
Last, during the Trump rally, which, again, whatever you have behind it, the reality is the event happened, it was real, and it was potentially scary. Yep. We talk about Antifa and all the other people, and you can say, it was Antifa caused this stuff. Look, I got news for you. There's lunatics on either side, and they're both equally dangerous. So, they had vans, they had zip ties, they had pipe bombs, they had a variety of things that were not, part of a peaceful protest. They don't, again, getting into it, you don't know what they were doing. Whatever their intentions were or could have been were bad. Thank God nothing like that happened. And, the politicians were, taken out. Yes, you can say historically these guys used to be tar and feathered at some times, but we've come a long way.
Yep.
So, but the fact is that the media has been told not to protect themselves. I don't understand. Especially the gas masks. You're worried about COVID, right? So I can't wear a mask that will stop me from, if you have presidential credentials, unless they're worried about people infiltrating as the media who are going to riot. Right? So, but if you're like a credentialed reporter,
walking into the fucking lion's den and being told, no, you can't protect yourself.
No, you can't do it. At that point, you don't go.
Yeah.
But fact is, on the other side, Inauguration Day fashion includes body armor. So you've got the politicians now, they can wear body armor. And I agree with this. But if they can, and
why can't the media?
Why can't the media?
Yeah.
And that's where, this thing all starts to break down, because look, New Year's Eve in New York City after 9/11 is like the most locked down place on the planet. You can, they have thousands upon thousands of people in there. And they're not checking them for body armor. You just can't carry in a bag, can't carry any alcohol, you can't do any stupid shit. Okay, but these are people who, if you're going to the inauguration, you could be, vetted months in advance. We knew it was going to be locked down. We knew it was going to be, but again, it's just like level. I don't know if it's there's a couple arguments here. One, okay, we don't know who these people are, and if they're coming in with gas mask helmets and body armor, they could be potentially dangerous. I understand that fact. But then we don't want to have, because if they are dangerous and they do something, we also want to have them in a way where they're vulnerable, where if we have to use guns or tear gas to disperse them, we can do it.
Yeah.
It sends a weird message. And the underlying issue is that, the government doesn't want you to have these things because you can't protect yourself, because they can't impose their will on you. And this is what, people that don't understand the Second Amendment.
Yep.
This is what they don't understand. And this is what they're not seeing. And now you gotta kind of look, you gotta ask why. And, we're always told, growing up, question, right? It's interesting. It's like now, back in like the 70s, and I would imagine I wasn't even born, during the, basically kind of just born during the Vietnam era. So I would imagine the protests probably were very similar.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what happened in Chicago, what happened in Watts riots. I mean, these are, real violent events where people got hurt and people got killed and people obviously got arrested. So, yeah, I mean, that was happening. So this is just kind of all new to us, but it was always like, there was the establishment, the anti-establishment, right? So now it's just kind of flipped. I don't know. It's weird. I just, I don't, you should, you can't. My buddy Mike says government at its best is inept and at its worst is corrupt.
It's about right.
Right. So you're looking at this and you gotta start, asking yourself like, hey, why, it's the same. It's all about power. It's all about keeping their jobs.
Yep.
Right. And that's every human being's, instinct. If you think these people are getting in there for some altruistic reason, you're out of your freaking mind. They're all sociopaths. They all go in as, with middle class income and come out millionaires. We have like billions in foreign aid that goes out. That's a racket. There's billions and trillions of the budget that's unaccounted for. Now, people say there's a whole host of theories on this, from black op, like alien shit, which again, I mean, it's interesting because there's a lot of stuff that's coming out now that that the government's like, oh yeah, that was a spacecraft, we found it. What I mean? It's bizarre. It's official document, government documents, and guys like head of the FAA and high-ranking military officials and all these. So that's a whole other thing. And I'm just going to get my tinfoil hat on, but there's shit that's and it's like, listen, the government can track you down if you don't pay your fucking taxes.
Yep.
But they can't remember where they put those billions of dollars. So, there's a racket going on here. And, while in America, everyone on the right, is which I pretty much kind of am, is freaking out. I got news for you people. Ain't nothing going to change.
That's right.
They want to keep it the status quo. That's the way it is, That's how the media, if you don't think the media and the government and Hollywood, everybody's fucking intertwined, shit.
Get your head out of the fucking hole.
Right. They did a movie about it with Ben Affleck. Argo. The CIA used Hollywood. They set up a front to do it. They did political shit to control people from newsreels. It's been going on. And the people being controlled don't even know they're being controlled. It's just like, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we control the narrative, right? So, getting back to your ability to defend yourself and what you can do, the less you know, the less you have, the better off they are. The more they can impose their will on you. The less, trained you are, the less aware you are. That's what being woke is.
Yes.
It's being able to fucking protect yourself and to have the tools and the skill and the know-how on any level. And that's what's really happening here. Do you know, let me share this with you. Application, here we go. Okay, I just got this from Facha Book. Your item was rejected. Police training pack. Now, this was been on. I've had this just on the site on the Facebook page, for literally months.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden, it's in compliance with our policies, and it goes through things that could be it goes to things that could be violent and all that shit. They see police training.
Yep.
It is automatically dinged. I have other self-defense items on there. For now, they haven't been banned. So, by the way, we're having a sale on this because of this. This is, again, slowly eroding away at what you can access and the information, because they're controlling the information. I mean, we're going elsewhere. We're using other venues to get our message out as we're slowly kind of going away from social media.
Yep.
But, they're controlling, what you're seeing. If I show an ad, any ad that has a gun, a knife,
yep.
Unless I'm selling cutlery.
Yep.
Any type of violence, any violence at all, even on the page that it goes to, and the page like a couple pages beyond that, because they will crawl the link and they will crawl the site. They have bots that do that. So anything that has anything to do with violence, they'll shut it down. I've had a lot of ads rejected.
Yes.
Had a lot of products rejected because of that. It's like, again, it's like they don't want to hear about it. They want the government to take care of them. And what they really should do is not be trusting these fucking people.
Yeah. Because
they're human beings, and human beings have a tendency to rob, steal, and rape and exploit one another.
Yeah.
Again, you're up in Canada, same shit.
Exactly the same shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking worse here. It's even worse. We are so tied to what we can and cannot do. So fucking limited to what we can and cannot do. And if you think that we don't deal with violence up here, you're fucking wrong. We don't have the same kind of carry conceal laws that you've got in the US. But you know what? If a guy wants to get a fucking gun and go out and commit a crime, he's going to get a fucking gun. It is what it is. But instead, our government wants to penalize law-abiding citizens. Makes no sense.
Yeah. Again, it's the same old criminals commit crimes. They don't care about the law.
Yeah.
They care about the levels of the law, what they can get. They care about what they can get away with. That's it. And if they're willing to break the law, they're willing to break the law. I mean,
right.
Laws only get followed by good people. And then the interesting is, the more gun laws they impose, it winds up affecting the minorities.
Yep.
Right? Because, okay, so for wherever you are, for whatever you believe, why, arrest rates for minorities in the United States are higher than of whites, the rest of non-whites, regardless. Okay, that's a whole other thing. If minorities or people are committing crimes black and white with firearms, right, with concealed weapons, so you make those crimes stiffer if more of the people you want to protect are getting arrested, you're actually incarcerating them greater numbers for longer times.
Yep.
So it's like the whole, it's like, yeah, we want this. And, we're operating. I think most of the people that do this everyone operates from their own perspective. They think, look, I'm a good person. That person is doing this because of a variety of reasons from their environment, up until, they're, again, like they're bad luck.
Right.
And the problem is that most of these people haven't met that person, that criminal, in context.
That's right.
In the context of a situation where they want something from you.
Yep.
Look, I can talk about reform, talk about second chances, all you want. You can talk to me about the guy who you had in therapy and you were counseling. He was so nice, and the guy, yes. I believe that guy is part of who that person wants to be. They also, sociopaths and tell you what you want to hear. But, in the context of committing the act and doing violence, these are people that cannot be reasoned with at that time.
That's
so, right. We start, these people, you impose your will on people and you impose your values on them. And in reality, it's like those values don't even exist because,
and the thing is, who do you impose your will on? Who do you impose your values on? You impose it on the ones that are fucking weak, that are unable to fight back, that, are unable to deal with it. And that's exactly where we stand with the government imposing these rules and regulations on us. Take away your weapons. It makes it so much easier for those who are going to impose shit to impose shit.
Right. Allow law-abiding people to actually protect and defend themselves within the law that already exists. It's really simple. And again, people also look at, they get most of their information about violence from movies, from anecdotes, from, your goofy, from goofy martial arts teachers. Not all martial arts teachers are goofy, but goofy martial arts teachers.
Yep.
And that's where, it winds up being, and they go like, yeah, I guess that could happen, without realizing the real simplicity and the brutality of what someone is going to do. And you think because you can get talked out of it, they can get talked out of it. And the only reason why somebody doesn't do something is because, somebody doesn't commit a crime is because they don't want to get caught, they don't want to get injured, and they don't want to get fucking identified. That's it. Those are the only three reasons. So that's it. I think I ranted enough. Again, please post your comments below. We'd love to hear from you always. Let us know some topics. I think we got some good things coming up for next week. And again, we got a little into the political, but what's happening is, social media, where a lot of people reside, they need to know what's going on. Yeah. They need to know that there is censorship more than what's happening politically. What's happening, with anything to do with violence.
Violence doesn't give a fuck. Left, right, it doesn't give a fuck. It affects us all, and we all need to be aware. We all need to pull our heads out of the fucking ground and, do what we need to do, regardless of whatever stance you have on shit.
Okay, on that note, behalf of myself and George, thanks for joining again. Leave your comments. Until next time,